Ranjan, before we get into what the SEC might do, why is Elon doing this right now? They've taken a relatively light-handed approach to his tweets. So why is he sort of putting himself back on the line?
Yeah, I mean, I think that is the real question here. Why is he escalating it? Because they've been seriously escalating things in the last few weeks. On February 17th, Musk's lawyers sent a letter to a federal judge saying that the SEC is harassing them with these investigations. Musk has been tweeting that he's peeling back the layers of the corruption onion of the SEC, which was a great line. But, you know, he's saying he was forced into this settlement. He's saying that his First Amendment speech and activity is being chilled. It really begs the question, why is this escalation happening now? Because the SEC has been completely hands-off during this entire process. Yeah. Think about how many tweets there have been that would have violated this agreement. I was on this show a few months ago talking about Hertz and the Tesla partnership, which shot the stocks of both companies up. And then Musk came out and said that there's no contract signed. And then, of course, there's the big one that's kind of the central question when Musk tweeted a poll on November 6th saying that he would be selling 10% of his shares if the crowd said yes. And then the shares fell 17%. So the SEC has been so hands-off that it makes no sense that Musk is escalating right now.
So, Ranjan, does it maybe speak to the importance and rising influence of the retail investor? Elon Musk was first in sort of trying to speak directly to them. We know that that's very important from him. You have that move from Amazon yesterday, the stock split that they said is going to make their stock more accessible, which feels like they're talking to the retail investor. Could that be part of it?
Yeah, but I do think the regulatory climate has changed, especially around retail investors. Because remember, 2018 was a different time. The Gary Gensler SEC has been much more aggressive. But most important, especially related to retail investors, the market has sold off. Think about how many companies are down 50, 80, 90%. And if you think about it, when everyone's making money, it's hard for regulators to regulate. Everyone's happy. It's when a lot of people have lost a lot of money that you're going to see a much bigger appetite for investor protection. And I think this time will be different. And Musk is forcing the SEC's hand right now.
Ranjan, I wonder, separate from obviously the compliance issues that we talk about a lot, the way in which this commodity shock has accentuated the look at Musk and what he did logistically ahead of all of this to be in a good position if things went south. I wonder, do you give him some credit for that right now?
Yeah, I mean, this is, again, why it's even more confusing, because Tesla, the company, is actually doing pretty well. They delivered 1 million cars last year. Their net income's on the rise. Their margins are on the rise, which is, again, even more confusing why Musk is doing this, because I see this playing out in a few different ways. Either scenario one, the SEC fights to maintain the status quo, which makes no sense because they've been hands-off anyways. So scenario two, this is where things get more interesting. The SEC can start doubling down on litigation. They could say the settlement is void and that you were already violating it anyways. So let's start going back to the 420 tweet and make the investigation live again. Let's double down on the insider trading investigation. Because remember, Kimball Musk sold $100 million of Tesla the day before this Twitter poll, and that is under investigation. But I think the more extreme way this can go, and I know this might sound crazy, is imagine if the SEC actually tries to deplatform Musk off of Twitter. And again, it almost sounds impossible, but if you can prove that a public company executive has repeatedly used a platform to break securities laws, what's to say? No one has a fundamental right to a Twitter account. So I do think it's even more telling right now that when the company is doing pretty well, that Musk would escalate things. And again, if anyone could steamroll the SEC, he's the master of Twitter. It could be Elon Musk. But I do believe the next few weeks and months, this is a serious escalation. And if you're a Tesla shareholder, maybe you don't need to be nervous, but you at least need to be aware that this is happening because this has to escalate. He has kind of laid the cards out.